Hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, a statistics and sports podcast. I am your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corwin Heller.
And today we're going to be running through a couple different topics in the NFL and the MLB for today's stats episode. We'll be talking a bit about current things that have been going on in the NFL in regards to statistics, as well as a little bit of news since we have a one kind of big update, and then we'll be going over some free agent stuff with the MLB. You ready to dive into it, Corwin?
Baseball. That was a yes.
Take that as a yes, yeah. So let's actually start with the one news thing. Neither of us have reached out to each other on Ron Rivera getting canned.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, this is kind of a surprise, honestly. Not that like the Panthers have been playing super well this season or last season or any point in time during his tenure aside from 2015, but it still seems like they haven't been such a wreck of a team that would warrant normally a coach being fired, like you've been hearing fans of other teams wanting theirs to be gone. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's one of those things where this is really just a change of scenery for both. Like we know Ron Rivera is a good coach. We know he was successful in Carolina, but defense just hasn't performed all year, especially with Kawan Short out. And I think it's just time for him to start over and for the Panthers to start over. And you know what? If it's going to happen, the earlier that you do it, the more, likely chance you're going to be successful in finding, a good coach. Because you're going to have so much longer to look. You'll be the first guys that can reach out to non-NFL coaches because you can't really do that in season. So I don't disagree with the need for it. It's just, man, I like Ron Rivera. I don't want to see him get canned, but I also know that he's going to have a head coaching job next season pretty much
Likely
wherever he wants to go. Hopefully in Dallas. I really hope fucking Jason Garrett gets the can because, oh my God, Jerry Jones needs to make that change.
I am so just flabbergasted by the fact he hasn't yet. I get loyalty and all that, but it's absolutely insane. On the Ron Rivera front,
inside my DNA. Sorry,
no, I support this. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I don't think anyone's really wrong here. Ron Rivera is a really good head coach. That sometimes you just got to move shit around. And he just, I guess, kind of reached the end of his Carolina tenure. I don't think there's any Panthers fans that are going to be resentful of Ron Rivera the way Cowboys fans will certainly be resentful of Jason Garrett. But
yeah,
and there'll be other teams that are looking to pick up Ron Rivera. He's still going to be good at his job. It was never chaos around the Panthers. They may have underperformed at times, but there was never chaos. So, and that's a big part of being the head coach.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't know how anyone, like you talked about chaos and, hard feelings. I don't know how anyone in Carolina can look back and say, man, I wish we hired somebody other than Ron Rivera way back when. Dude took you to the Super Bowl, and man, when you think about the Carolina Panthers, that's not exactly a team where you think, oh, this team is set top to bottom to be able to build up a dynasty. No, like Ron Rivera did a fantastic job with this team over the past couple of years. And, sometimes it just doesn't always work out. Messages get old. Guys just get too old to fit your system. They just aren't the same players as they were, and it's hard to find those kind of replacements. And change of scenery isn't always, a negative thing like we can sometimes paint it.
And this is kind of the perfect time for them to do it, with Cam Newton down for the season, so they're running on all backups, so it's not like they have a shot at the playoffs really, underperforming due to external circumstances outside of Ron Rivera, but still underperforming nonetheless, so you can kind of like, I don't know, justify it in some sense. But in case anyone's curious, Carolina Panthers NFL rank in yards for their offensive yards, 21st, 4,095 yards. That puts them right below the Eagles and right above the Packers, which is fascinating. In terms of points for, they are 14th, they're tied with the Lions, 280, just above the Titans at 276. So by all accounts, they're just relatively a middling team offensively, which again makes sense because they are missing their very, very good quarterback. So, I just it's a tough break, but
So while we're on the topic, sorry to interrupt.
that's fine.
Where do you think Cam ends up next season? Do you think he stays with Carolina, or do you see him getting moved to another team?
I really hope he stays with Carolina because I think he's still really fucking good, and Carolina's not going to be low enough, or I guess high enough in the draft to get one of like the main quarterback guys, and I'm not sure they even really need that right now because the other parts of their team are okay. They probably need wide receiver help, and Lord knows every single team in the NFL needs O-line help, but their defense isn't actually that bad. I have their defensive points 4 right here, and they have actually no, that's not great. They have allowed the 7th most points, yeesh, and the 11th most yards. So their defense not looking great. But regardless, I still think that they have enough pieces there to be a contender within a relatively reasonable time frame, which would, because like they don't need a tank. I don't think the Panthers need a tank. I think they need to retool.
Sorry for coughing my way through that as you were talking. I just drank some candle wax by accident.
Oh,
it tastes so bad. It wasn't hot or anything. It was stuff that I spilled in my drink because I was moving a candle. I did not see it. I just drank it. It tastes as bad as you would imagine. A little fruity.
Wow. Okay. Penn State, everyone.
Yeah, I don't think this is a team that needs to, tear down and rebuild in any sense of the word. Looking at Cam's numbers next year, he's got a base salary of $18.6 million.
Wow, that's not unreasonable at all.
No, that is very, very reasonable. And then he has a cap hit of 21.1 with a $2 million dead cap if they do choose to move on from him. Man, like this is one of those situations where you have a guy like Allen who's been able to come in and perform, fairly well. Definitely doesn't have the ceiling that Cam Newton does when he's healthy, but when Cam Newton's hurt, I mean, Cam Newton's bad when he's hurt, when he doesn't have that mobility, and just especially with a shoulder injury on a quarterback, like it's just the accuracy hasn't been there, the power hasn't been there. If they look at this shoulder surgery that he just had in a couple months before free agency really gets going, and they think, man, this is not healing the way we want it to, we don't think you're going to be able to come back like this, they could move him and get some, actual draft capital from this. They could cut him without really much of a fuss. Like $2 million in dead cap for a quarterback is nothing. Like it is just, that's like a rounding error when it comes to like this kind of stuff. Like it's nothing. So they have a lot of flexibility. I think if he is healthy, but the Panthers still want to move, I think moving him to Chicago would be the dream for me.
Oh, no, that would be fascinating. Him with that defense.
Him with that defense, him with Matt Nagy, just, Chicago without Mitchell Trubisky. Win-win for everybody, except for Mitch.
Yeah, well, he doesn't do a lot of winning anyway. Oh. Speaking of NFC South teams, let's transition over to talking about the somehow second place, because this entire division is garbage, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you realize that, by the way?
I did not. That's
Tampa and Carolina
hilarious.
are tied for second in the NFC South. They're both 5-7.
That's so fucking funny.
Meanwhile, Dallas is first in the NFC East at 6-6.
Yeah, I did see that, because that
shit.
Division is just a joke.
God, what a weird time to be in the NFC. Anyway, so
I just caught myself trying to drink from that fucking cup again. I'm so stupid.
Dude, this is a bad look for us.
I know.
Anyway, so over the course of the season, we've talked about it a lot. Pro-Football-Refernce, which is one of our favorite resources for looking at football stats, please give us money. I've been adding a lot of advanced football stats. They've been keeping up with updating the pages as well as updating the stats. They've gotten really, really good with it, and they've added a whole bunch of new shit. So one of the things they've added sometime over the course of the season, because I've seen it, but it wasn't here at the beginning, is intended air yards. So we've talked about air yards before. That's strictly the amount of yards that the ball has traveled, well, in the air. So if a quarterback throws a ball to a wide receiver 10 yards downfield, and then the wide receiver runs 5 yards further, the quarterback will get 15 passing yards. But he'll only get 10 air yards because the first 10 of those 15 yards were in the air. And that's what that's strictly going to be looking at. Intended air yards is saying, like, all right, so let's say the quarterback attempted a 10-yard pass and the wide receiver didn't catch it for whatever reason. Doesn't matter if it was a drop or the defensive back pad. It doesn't matter. Intended air yards will take all of the actual completions, those regular air yards we already have, and add in the we tried for that, the incomplete pass air yards. I'll put it that way. Incomplete pass air yards. And all that would be intended air yards. So this is basically just a metric of, all right, how much have you tried throwing? You know, how many yards altogether this season have you tried to throw the ball? And I wanted to see who had the most of that. And the answer is Jameis Winston by so much. Oh my God.
Astronomically large amount.
By 600 yards.
Right. So
620 yards separate him from second place, and to take 620 yards away from second place, you get all the way down to what is that? Like 9th place.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount.
Honestly, 10th or 11th, because there's not much difference there.
Really, yeah.
I'm not about to actually do the math, so
no, don't care. So Jameis Winston this season has 4,759 air yards for 3,659 actual yards, which is a difference of what is it, 1,100, which is awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Yeah. Oh my God. What do you make of this?
Oh man, Jameis Winston is just, if you're a Tampa fan, he's awful to watch. If you're a fan of the 31 other teams or just football in general, he is hilarious. Because he's everything that's great and awful about football. He just fucking slings it like he's goddamn Brett Favre, just tossing it up to, honestly, 2 of the best receivers in the NFL right now. And man, when he fails so spectacularly. It's so funny.
It's honestly astonishing. You're right. He's Brett Favre without a lick of the skill that Brett Favre had.
I wouldn't say, like, he's still talented and he can still throw a pretty ball. He's just so inconsistent and makes such bad decisions that it makes him look like a goddamn, just fool out there sometimes.
Oh my, it's just so bad. So like the second person on this list is Dak Prescott with 4,138 intended air yards for 3,788 actual yards. A difference of about 350. Actually, a difference of exactly 350. Which is like, all right, like that kind of tracks, So we're like 10, 12 games in, probably like 12 games into the season at the time of this recording. Yes. And so that difference of 350 yards is like about 30 yards per game. And if you told me that he attempted 30 yards of passing that didn't end up being there per game, that's like not even that bad. That's whatever.
No, that's one pass, one deep pass.
Yeah, that's seriously it. It's one, not even a Hail Mary. Like that's really not outrageous at all. 1,100 is almost 100 yards of incomplete passes for whatever reason per game. That's a lot.
Fucking insane.
That's the difference between getting like 250 team yards in a game and 350 team yards in a game, and that's enormous.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget that yards are basically compounding because every 10 yards gets you a new set of downs. So that's just new opportunities. So basically what that 100 yards is per game is that it's also at least 10 more first downs. About.
Yeah, but you also have to think, man, Tampa's like not great. So they're really like it's not like they're it's not like there's the Ravens offense where they're scoring on every drive and they're just racking up first down after first down after first down. It's like there are games when they are just straight up bad on offense, which only highlights how deep he's throwing the ball and how much he's throwing just in order to get to these numbers.
Oh yeah, this is such a chucking situation. Would you like to guess where how many drops the Buccaneers have and where that ranks amongst teams?
I'm gonna say that they're middle of the pack with like 15.
Pretty close. 15 is actually this season would be pretty good. That would put them in or just out of the top 5. They have 19 team drops, which is tied with the Broncos and the 49ers. So a pretty disparate talent level there. The lead leaguer in team dropped passes is the Carolina Panthers with 26. So the Buccaneers 19 puts them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like middle of the fucking pack here because there's a bunch of ties along the way. Baltimore Ravens only 9. Just saying.
Just to ask, where are the Steelers on that list now?
Where are you, Steelers? Steelers have 21.
Ooh.
So the lower end of middle of the pack, erring towards not great.
Yeah, it's not. 21 is not good.
Also, Jameis Winston's passer rating plus per year. So this is the indexed version of passer rating. Basically, what that means is that everyone gets a passer rating. We're relatively familiar with this. They throw it up during games a lot. It gets tweeted out a lot. It's it's a whole thing we've gone over on the show a bunch of times. Indexing is basically what we do whenever we talk about baseball. OPS plus, WRC plus. It's 100 is baseline. Any amount over 100, you are that much percentage-wise better than average. Any number below 100, you are that much percentage-wise worse than average. 105, 5% better than average. 95, 5% worse than average. Jameis Winston's 7% worse than average.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
Jameis Winston's passer rating plus per year. Rookie year, 92.
Not bad for a rookie.
No, not bad. They'll take that. 2016, his sophomore year, 96. Slight tick up. 2017, 103. We're really trucking along here. He's now slightly above average. 2018, 100. All right, that's fine. Average. 2019, 87.
Yikes.
In a contract year, 87.
Yikes. So just looking at some, man, that is so bad. Looking at some other numbers, his bad throw percentage is 4th worst in the NFL with a 20.5%, behind only Mason Rudolph, Matthew Stafford, and Jared Goff. Which means his on-target percentage, it's not directly correlated, but his on-target percentage is 71%, which is 5th worst.
That's
behind
awful.
Mason Rudolph, Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield, and Matthew Stafford.
Man, what the fuck's up with Stafford this year?
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Might have to dig into that one of these days.
Let's check out drop percentage. Oh, wow. Teddy Bridgewater's drop percentage is 8.6%. What?
That's enormous.
All right. Yeah, we're getting away from things.
Also, I never do this, but you know what Jameis Winston's record is as quarterback?
Oh, God, what?
26-40.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
he
really
has one winning season. He went 9-7 in 2016. The other seasons, 6-10, 3-10, 3-6, 5-7.
Yeah, he's not great. All right, so can we just agree that we're just trying to pile on Jameis Winston right now?
So this begets my next question of what the fuck happens with Jameis Winston next year? Because I really can't imagine the Bucs picking up his contract for his extension.
Before we move on to that, I have one more thing I want to comment on. He has the second most sacks of all quarterbacks this year, behind only Kyler Murray. 40.
Oof.
All right, now we can move on. No.
So what's Tampa's plan?
182 times. Jesus. All right, sorry. Tampa, honestly, I think has to move on. Keeping him there as a backup might not be the worst thing. You could probably sign him for not a whole lot of money because he's just been so bad the past couple of years. But honestly, if I'm the GM, I don't think I want him in that building just because I don't want to have to deal with the issue of, hey, if our rookie quarterback next year or free agent quarterback next year struggles, I don't want to even have the talk of, should we put Jameis in? Jameis knows the offense. Should we put him in?
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't want that.
You can't have that kind of second guessing BS. Like, it's not, 1-to-1, but what's going on in Jacksonville right now?
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation.
Foles, you draft a guy in Minshew. One gets hurt, the other performs well. Original guy comes back, you bench the rookie. Starter now struggles, you put the rookie back in. Like, it's just flip-flopping back and forth. Kind of like the Giants last year, too.
Yeah, and did you see that Eli's apparently supposed to start on Sunday now?
Yeah, Daniel Jones
because of an injury, but yeah.
Yeah. I actually got a text from a Giants fan today laughing hysterically at that tweet. Just like, I can't fucking watch him play again. I can't watch the game this week.
I can imagine it's going to be tough, but I also don't care. Oh, well.
I agree, yeah.
Real quick, Jimmy Garoppolo. He is currently 27th in intended air yards at 2,371. Do you know how many actual yards Jimmy Garoppolo has?
No.
2,896. He has 525 more passing yards than he does intended air yards.
That's bad.
Honestly,
like,
no, so that's what I was going to ask you.
Him, or is that bad on his receivers too?
Well, no. I think that his receivers are thriving. I was saying I don't think this is bad on Garoppolo. I think this is amazing on the coaching and the receivers. Because think about this. His receivers have outperformed his air yards, not even air yards based on completions, air yards based on intentions, by over 500 yards. They basically stole 500 yards.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
That really speaks to Shanahan, and that also really speaks to his wide receivers, because we already mentioned they have the fewest drops in the NFL. They haven't even hit double digits yet, which is nuts. And that's the Ravens. My bad. Where are the Niners? They have 19, so actually they're pretty middle of the pack in terms of drops, but they're just getting away with yards after the catch.
So looking at this, Jimmy Garoppolo has 1,329 completed air yards, and his receivers have 1,567 yards after catch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jameis Winston has 2,332 completed air yards, so over 1,000 yards more, but only 1,327 yards after catch. So 200 less than the San Francisco receivers.
This is fascinating stuff.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. I wonder if you can call that. I mean, obviously you can call that efficiency, but I'm just so fascinated about like how you want to justify. Like I wonder if we can if there's a way to create like an efficiency metric like quality of pass based on efficiency, you know what I'm saying? Because each one of Jimmy Garoppolo's passes are netting just an enormous benefit, whereas each one of even Dak Prescott's passes, which he still has a ton of yards, and his intended air yards aren't like we talked about, they're not outmatching his actual passing yards by an egregious amount. I would have called that normal, and looking at the rest of this list, it does seem to be relatively normal, but I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's efficiency per pass must be just lapping Dak Prescott's because he's getting so much production out of all of his passing attempts.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question on intended air yards per pass attempt.
Okay.
Jimmy Garoppolo is in the bottom 10. I want you to guess where he is in the bottom 10 and who is behind him.
Okay. I'll say he's like third to last.
100% correct.
Really?
Yep. Third
Wow.
to last. Exactly.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of myself.
With 6.6 intended air yards per pass attempt.
All right. So let's see who sucks this year. I
will give you a hint. You will never fucking guess these.
All right. Then you know what? Just tell me.
One of them is Teddy Bridgewater of the New Orleans Saints with 6.2. The other is Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints with 6.5.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, never would have thought Drew Brees would be down there. I mean, if you look at the guys just ahead of him, you have like Derek Carr, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton.
Those are names I was trying to guess. Yeah,
those are names you would expect to be at the bottom of this list, not Drew Brees.
Yeah, no, I would definitely not pick Drew Brees. That's okay. So just to pivot over to the other side of the ball for a second, unless you have anything else to say about Jameis Winston and how perplexing he is as a football player.
Would you have thought 5 years ago that first and second overall picks, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, would probably not be starting in the NFL to start off their second contracts?
Jameis Winston, I actually could have seen if you told me that. He had a pretty rocky first year. There was a lot of questions surrounding not just him, but like the makeup of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're a historically bad team. Mariota would have really surprised me.
Right.
Yeah, I really wanted him as a Jets fan because we were kind of in like the tankathon race to get him. And he started off his career much better than Jesus fucking Christ, Josh, Jameis Winston. So I actually would have been rather surprised at that one.
Yeah, I mean, I had such a hard on for Mariota coming out. I definitely never would have seen him. I would have thought he'd be closer to, where like Russell Wilson is right now than where he actually is backing up Ryan Tannehill. Jameis was such a boomer bust. He had so many issues coming out. It's one of those things where he was the first overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion. You expected him to be really good, but you also knew in the back of your head, okay, there's a decent chance he absolutely implodes and is awful. He's been the better quarterback out of the two, statistically. I mean, I know he has just so many more turnovers. It's hilarious, but he can throw the ball better, and he takes those shots downfield that you want to see. And if either of the two have a better chance or have a decent chance to start for a team next year, it's him. But man, it's honestly kind of hilarious how far both of these guys have fallen since the draft.
The Bears should cut Mitchell Trubisky and add Marcus Mariota. That's my hot take.
I don't know how I feel about that, because on one hand, it's like, all right, moving on from Trubisky, fantastic. Replacing him with Mariota is like, is that really an improvement? Especially in the long term.
Marcus Mariota, as long as we're on the subject, passer rating plus by season. Rookie year 103, pretty fucking good for a rookie. It's tough. Second year 110. 2017 86. Although he had a winning record that year, which is hilarious. 2018 back up to 103. 2019 actually 99, which feels weird because this was certainly a rocky year for him. He's always been good with yards. He's always been above average in yards, barring his 2017 campaign where he was basically average. Net yards per attempt, he's been kind of up and down. Average adjusted yards per attempt, he's been usually pretty solid, but touchdown percent, he's been pretty negative recently. Interception percent, he was really bad this year. Getting sack percent, Jesus Christ, he definitely is taking on way more hits than he needs to. So I personally think he still has it in him, but he's got to prove it.
Are we talking about Mariota?
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused for a second. Like I didn't lose track, but like I got confused, man. That's all I can say.
That's okay, bud. You drink candle wax.
I did drink candle wax.
Do you have anything else you want to say about the NFL?
We're 3/4 of the way through it, and I miss it already because I know it's not going to last.
It never does.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let me go hit up Pro Football, or not Pro Football Reference, but never mind. Fuck it. Whatever. Fucking losing my goddamn mind over here.
That's okay. Let's talk about baseball.
Ooh, actually, I do have something. Who's the next coach to be fired?
Ooh, it's got to be Jason. Please make it Jason Garrett. I don't even like the
Jerry
Cowboys.
Jones has been so adamant he's not going to like make a decision right now.
Did you see his weird ass quote where it was like Jason Garrett will certainly be a head coach in the NFL next season?
No,
not saying for the Cowboys. That was hilarious. You didn't see that?
No, who's tweeted it?
Jerry Jones said it in an interview.
Oh, Jerry Jones said it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of Jason Garrett will definitely be coaching in the NFL next season. But he did not say for the Cowboys.
I would love if he gets fired. I think Freddie Kitchens is getting kind of close to that hot seat, especially if they really fall apart at the end of the season and don't show any improvement.
That roster is so much better than how they're playing.
Yeah, I think Dan Quinn's going to be looking for a new job next year. He's the Falcons head coach.
Oh, yeah.
They've just been so bad this year.
Yeah.
Especially on defense, and he is a former defensive coordinator. Like, he's helped start the Legion of Boom, and he just can't fix that Atlanta defense. Doug Marrone of the Jaguars, probably.
Yep, certainly on the hot seat.
I don't know, maybe like Pat Shurmur in New York.
What do you think about what's the name of the guy that coaches the Chargers? Anthony
Lynn.
Anthony Lynn. I really hope he doesn't get canned because I happen to really like him, but I'm worried.
I don't think he will. I think everyone, like absolutely everyone knows it's really not his scheming, play calling, coaching, whatever that's causing the Chargers to self-destruct every year. It's injuries. It's, Phillip Rivers being 60 years old now. I've heard nothing but good things about Anthony Lynn, so I really don't think his seat's that hot.
Real quick, and then we can move on from the NFL. But you know what's weird? The Rams are 7-5, and if you had asked me what the record was, I probably would have said the inverse because I forgot they won like a bunch of games.
Man, they have just looked so unbelievably bad this year.
Yeah, and they have it's because like they're a third in their division because the Niners and the Seahawks are both good and they're both having phenomenal seasons, and so they're getting kind of forgotten about. But like that, that's not an awful. They won't make the playoffs. Oh, actually, they probably will make the playoffs. That's what's crazy. Because every other here's the second place team in the NFC conference by record. NFC East, second place team is the Eagles, 5-7. The North, it's the Minnesota Vikings, 8-4. Oh, so they will miss the playoffs. Tampa Bay is the second place team in the NFC South, 5-7, and the NFC West, second place team is Seattle, 10-2. So the Rams at third place in the NFC West actually aren't like super far out of it, but wow, does it feel like they are?
Mm-hmm. They have to improve next year because, man, like this has just been such a bad season for them. But like, fuck, dude, the Rams, like, they don't have any draft capital the next.
I was gonna say they have to improve next year because they have no option not to.
Yeah, like I don't know.
They
like,
gambled on their future to be set up for a dynasty, and they do not have it.
Yeah, like individually, these trades as they come in seem like they could be really great, but as more and more of them just stop panning out, it's like all coming together. Like these guys are in serious trouble. Like, oh god, it's going to be bad for them if they can't figure this out with free agency and with players just naturally improving.
Yeah, they're in such a tough fucking spot, and they're not going to get back what they gave up for those people in the slightest.
No,
not unless they want to start talking about trading away Aaron Donald,
which is going to have to become a conversation.
If next year isn't better, then yeah.
Let me look up their future draft picks.
I bet it's not a lot.
Look that up somewhere.
And
in 2020, they don't have a first round pick. They don't have what? How the fuck is this set up? What? Okay, so they don't have a first round pick. They have 2 5th-round picks, and that's it. And then 2021, they don't have a 1st, 4th, or 5th-round pick.
Oof.
So they don't have their next 2 first-round picks, and they're missing a bunch of mid-round picks in there as well.
So their team is what it is.
Yeah. Wow, what a poorly set up website, by the way. I'm not even going to say the name of them because they definitely don't deserve it.
All right.
It's like a 1998 HTML website.
Oh, that's not good.
Sorry.
Anyway, shall we talk about baseball?
Yeah, let's talk about baseball. Actually, one more thing. Before I said that Cam Newton just had shoulder surgery, that was incorrect. He had foot surgery. I just wanted to correct that before
that's right.
None of our listeners reach out about it because we don't have any.
Oh, shut up about that. All right, so we are still getting a steady stream of a mix of exciting and uninteresting free agent signings. Most recently today was announced that Cole Hamels has signed a 1-year, $18 million deal with Atlanta, basically taking the place of Dallas Keuchel. So, yeah, very big, especially because he was heavily tied to the White Sox as a way of shoring up their rotation, along with Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler. So granted, Zach Wheeler is still an option for the White Sox and would be a huge addition to them. Cole Hamels officially off the market, now sent to the Braves, who thus far have spent the most this offseason. Just if anyone's curious, Braves have signed 4 players totaling $76.8 million this offseason. They are the only team to have in the top 5 to have signed more than one player. Second place is the White Sox with $73.0 million because they have a free agent signing and an extension. But we thought we could look at what players have signed for AAV and compare that to the WAR that they put up in recent times to see how it compares.
Yeah, okay. I'm in.
So, Yasmani Grandal, we've talked about before. He intentionally has signed a 1-year contract last year with the Brewers as a way to maintain his high AAV. As I said, is in service to himself as well as to his fellow catchers. And he has just signed his 4-year, $73 million contract, $18.25 million per year. In the last 3 years, Yasmani Grandal has accumulated 8 WAR. So let's take 8 and divide it by 3, so we get an average of 2.67 WAR per year. And with his $18.25 million per year salary, how much does that make 1 WAR worth?
Please don't ask me to do math right now.
I got you. $6.84 million.
That's not that much. I thought it would be higher.
Not
Well,
really
one
isn't.
more. Yeah. We didn't we do an entire episode on this? How much is WAR worth?
Yeah, but we use Fangraphs estimates, which don't always come out to being real life.
True. This is real life.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Because that's not a lot of money, especially at a position that's rather coveted in catcher.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that? $6.84 million per WAR.
I think if you could find a catcher that can consistently put up the kind of numbers that Yasmani Grandal does when it comes to producing WAR, it's absolutely worth it. I know catcher can be pretty volatile sometimes. Gary Sanchez is a good example.
Makes me sad.
I know. But yeah, I mean, he's been so consistent for so long. Let me pull up his numbers.
He has 16.1 total career WAR.
Yeah, just looking at this, 3 of the last 4 years, he's had an OPS of over 815. Hasn't had an under 728 OPS, except for his second season in 2013, when he only had 108 plate appearances. So it's not like he's ever been a tremendously bad hitter, and he's always been so fucking good at defense that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, plus his offensive output and his total WAR production has been increasing incrementally. Granted, his 2018 season was the best season thus far, so his 2019 season was a tad worse than it. He's still been he's hitting his prime. I wouldn't be worried about him. But 6.8 per WAR is I don't know, just a little bit low, but I guess that's just kind of what it is nowadays, you know. And I bet a lot of free agents are scared, not wanting to fall victim to traps that beset guys like Mike Moustakas, also on this list.
Before we go into the details, how do you feel about Mike Moustakas playing second base?
Oh, I feel fine about it. That's usually a position people move over to once they've gotten a little bit older and a little bit slower, because he's going from third, which is a much more intensive position than second. Second, you don't have to have the range. Like usually, I don't want to say bad shortstops, but like less defensively viable shortstops will go to second, and sometimes third baseman, though it's not as common. So we don't usually think of them as being big dudes. It's still kind of weird, but it's usually because they were shortstops that got moved over, not third baseman. So,
I mean, it's not like Mike Moustakas is a small third baseman, though. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's huge, and he's just turned 31, so it's not like he's a spring chicken anymore either.
No, but also he's a really good defender. You know, he's put up. I know we've constantly maligned defensive numbers, but we'll use them when we need to. And he has one season with a negative defensive value. In general, everything else aside from that is positive.
And he was an all-star that season.
Yeah, funny enough. I bet he crushed the ball. It was at 2017. Yeah, that's a pretty good year.
Do you want to know a fun fact about Mike Moustakas?
I do.
His birthday is September 11th.
That's not fun at all.
Nope.
That wasn't even remotely fun.
I never said I was being honest about that part.
All right. So let's see. Mike Moustakas' WAR in the last 3 years is 5.7. So 5.7 divided by 3 gives us an average of 1.9 WAR per year. And he signed on for a $16 million AAV contract. So we'll take 16 million divided by 1.9. So it's about $8.5 million per WAR.
18?
Which is 8.42.
I was like, oh my God, how has that changed so much? But no, eight makes a good amount of sense right there.
So he second baseman, I guess we can say right now, are getting paid a higher dollar amount per WAR than catchers.
Yeah.
Which they're valuing second base WAR more anyway.
Interesting.
Weird.
Man, this is something we could really, break into. Not break into, but get into, like, what we pay per WAR per position. So where do we value that value?
Yeah, it'd be like instead of the PWRC Plus episode we basically started the show with, it'd be like PWAR, positional war.
All right, so here's a message to Josh in the future when you listen back to this. Write that down.
Yeah, will do, pal. All right, real quick, I want to jump down a smidge here in this list to look at Travis d'Arnaud, since we're talking about catchers already, because this is going to be interesting. So Travis d'Arnaud signed a 2-year, $60 million contract. Yeah, for $8 million per year. Travis d'Arnaud, pretty new on the scene in terms of being a viable starting catcher. Over the last 3 seasons, he has negative 0.3 WAR, 0
Yikes.
WAR, and 1.4. Oh, sorry, they split up his 2019 year. Oh, sorry. So his last 3 years is negative 0.1, negative 0.3, and 1.4 WAR for 1 WAR in the last 3 years.
He's really improving.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what?
Are you sure? Because right here it says Travis d'Arnaud has 2.3 over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know why it says that over there, because in their own
If you go
thing,
to like his actual,
I'm in his baseball reference page and it doesn't say that, which feels very odd. So I don't know where they got that one from.
Baseball Reference.
I see what happened.
Oh, never mind.
I see what happened. Man, they really split up this one in a really weird fucking way. All right. Yeah, I don't know why his player value tab is such a bizarre fashion. They're right. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. I'm the smart one here. So 2.3 over the last 3 years gives him an average WAR per year of 0.77, we'll say. And he is earning $8 million per year. So they're paying $8 million for the prospect of 0.77 WAR. So he's getting paid. Well, that's just fascinating. 10.389, 10.4 WAR, $10.4 million per WAR, because he has less than 1.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's so weird.
I know. Man, I don't even know how to put a positive spin on that. That's just kind of real shitty. Especially like if you pay 10 million per WAR for like Mike Trout, okay, you're going to be getting a lot of WAR. So, all right, you pay a premium to get that in one player. So, if you're looking at it as just accumulating a certain number of WAR as a team in order to succeed, you're saving roster spots and whatnot. You're, consolidating value. When it's with a guy like Travis d'Arnaud, who's going to be like maybe your starting catcher, more likely to be your backup. Why?
Yeah, especially because like we just said, Yasmani Grandal is getting paid. The White Sox are paying him 6 point something, I think 6.4 or something like that per WAR. That's so much more reasonable as a rate. And now let's make it even more interesting by looking at Yan Gomes, because Yan Gomes has also got a 2-year contract, but his was for $10 million. So he's only making $5 million per year. Yan Gomes in the last 3 years has put up 5.1 wins above replacement. So 5.1 divided by 3 gives him an average WAR per year of 1.7. All right. So $5 million, 1.7 WAR. That's just under $3 million per WAR. So the Braves made a bizarre choice by giving Travis d'Arnaud this much money. Either that or Yan Gomes and Yasmani Grandal severely went under their value.
Yeah, I mean, how old is Travis d'Arnaud now? 31? I don't know, man. I still can't
Facing the same age as Grandal and 1 year younger than Yan Gomes.
Yeah, I just can't get over the idea of paying that kind of premium for an old, not good catcher.
I mean, I'd hard pressed to call him old, but he's a catcher. They break down pretty quick. At least tail end of prime, we'll call it.
That's fair. And you have to know I'm still very biased about, coming from the football side of things, where 31 seems ancient to me for that.
Yeah, so I guess the Adam Wainwright 38's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Cole Hamels just got $18 million at 36.
How long was his deal for? 2 years?
Cole Hamels 1 year.
Yeah, I would not want to sign him longer than 1 year. Hell,
Yeah.
if I could sign him to half a year, if I could, that'd be pretty ideal.
Just a month per month basis. Just keep picking him up as needed.
Just put him on the hourly salary. Not salary, hourly rate.
All right, Cole. You're gonna get paid per inning.
Gets paid per pitch. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
That could be abused because it's like, all right, if I'm getting paid per pitch, let's just throw a lot of walks.
That's true.
Try to get as many full counts as we can.
So how about like per out? Does that make more sense?
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
All right, real quick, just as a side note, Cole Hamels' career WAR is 59.6. So as long as he gets 0.4, that's actually a lot higher than I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't have a good reason for why I thought that.
Yeah, I don't either.
But if next year, if he gets at least 0.4 WAR, that puts him above 60. Which is usually a pretty good barometer for when guys make the Hall of Fame. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but is Cole Hamels with no Cy Youngs, one World Series win, World Series MVP, and NLCS MVP, 4-time All-Star, and the only black ink he has is he led the league in shutouts once and whip once. Is he going to go to the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Hall of Very good, sure, but I don't think he's Hall of Fame material.
Yeah, I agree with that pretty perfectly.
Me and all of my baseball wisdom and expertise.
Nah. It's tough for a pitcher to go to the Hall of Fame without a Cy Young. And if for the pitchers that do it, it's usually like you're a Mo kind of guy. Where or like
didn't have Chris Sale.
He has no, he doesn't have a Cy Young. That's right. He's the weird case. Yeah, Chris Sale, who's top 5 every year and just keeps getting edged down. I don't know. It'd be super weird if he did. But anyway, so Cole Hamels in the last 3 years has put up 9.7 wins above replacement, which on average means he's been worth 3.23 WAR per year. So his $18 million this upcoming season means that they're projecting to pay him $5.57 million per WAR. I think that's pretty fucking reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking up Hall of Fame pitchers who never won a Cy Young Award.
Any notable names?
There's 6 of them.
Really, only 6. That's amazing.
But the only consistent place I can find it is on Sporkle, and I don't know if I can trust it.
Oh, you don't
I don't trust it
very often
at all. So like, it's the only one that gave me a specific number of like the Venn diagram of Hall of Fame Cy Young winners and like or non-Cy Young winners and all that. Man, I don't know. Like guys like Goose Gossage, a bunch of names I don't know. Mike Messina never won a Cy Young.
That's right. He was another one of those weird cases.
Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how we forgot that. Kurt Schilling is one. Don Sutton. Let's see. Juan Marchal. Bert Blevlin.
Oh yeah, Bert Blyleven.
Jeez, I'm bad enough with names. Don't give me that thing. Phil Niekro.
Yeah, that name is all consonants.
Yeah, like I looked over it and tried like saying it in my head, and it was like I'm gonna rethink this.
Yeah, if you say it enough times, you start adding an L to Bert, it all of a sudden becomes Blurt Blyleven.
Oh God, imagine having like a lisp trying to say that name. Blurt. Oh no, I'm not even gonna attempt it.
Imagine being Mike Tyson in general.
Did Cy Young win it?
He tried. He really did, but never quite got it.
Do you think
So
when he was he alive when they created the Cy Young Award?
no, it was made in part to commemorate his life after he'd passed. Yeah.
I could just see him like standing in his kitchen, just like handing himself just like a little silver medal that's plastic. Like, there you go, Cy. You won one too.
I won the Cy Young Award.
I am the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, he just looks in the mirror every day.
Be a pirate.
I've mentioned this before, but the Cy Young Award, if you ever look at it, is hilarious. It's actually an inside joke. So, do you have a picture of the Cy Young Award in front of you?
No, but I have access to the internet. So
yeah, go ahead and look it up.
10 seconds.
Wow, that's a pretty long Google. My Google says it found it in 0.83.
0.63 actually.
What a shame.
All right, so Cy Young Award, got it right in front of me.
All right, so what grip is the pitch in?
Before I say anything, this is one of the stupidest looking awards I've ever seen.
I mean, you don't like this exceedingly dangerous looking award?
No, like, have you ever watched The League?
Yeah, of course.
You know how Andre falls on the Dre?
Yeah.
It looks like this is a serious, like this thing will go up your butt in a very aggressive manner type award.
Luckily, it's a plaque and not a standalone trophy, but still.
All right, so it's not a fastball. Figures. Is it a two-seamer?
It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. The fingers aren't on seams.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it looks like it might be able to just get on like the two seams when they come together, but it's not on anything.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Is that it's just a load of nothing? Why would they design it like that?
Because it's funny. I mean, I've seriously heard that this is just like an inside baseball fucking joke. Like that the Cy Young Award isn't. Now I'm looking at some old ones, and some old ones actually do seem to have the fingers on the seams like a fastball, but by and large, a lot of them don't. Actually, it's weird. Now I'm looking at, and some of them do, and some of them don't. This is fucking weird. Because I've heard like David Cohn talk about
on a
it.
lace.
Yeah, it's looking more like a slider grip in some parts. Because I've heard David Cohn talk about it, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not on anything. That's the joke of it." But as I'm looking through, like some of them actually do. How intriguing! Huh?
Who makes the fucking Cy Young Award? Who's your quality assurance chief?
Maybe they make it for the guy. Like you get a pick.
That'd be pretty cool. If it's like they put the your best pitch on there.
Now that would be awesome.
That would be pretty fucking cool. Or if it was a trophy that like you look at it and it's like, oh, that looks like it was for something important, not just like something you get from like the American Legion for being in it for like 10 years. It's such an ugly looking trophy.
But it's classic.
It's
a national treasure.
Like, at least with like a silver slugger, they give you a fucking bat. Like,
what's the equivalent? Would they give you a ball? Would they hand you a silver-plated strikeout?
Yeah, like the silver slugger, you get a fucking bat. Gold glove, you get a glove. For the Cy Young, you get that fucking plaque.
So real quick, just so we can move along. Kyle Gibson signed a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Texas Rangers. That's an AAV of $10 million. In the last 3 years, Kyle Gibson has accumulated 4.7 wins above replacement. So on average, 1.57 WAR per year. That means that they are paying him $6.7 million per WAR, which also seems pretty fucking good. So it's also relatively in line with what Cole Hamels is getting, maybe $1 million more. So let's extrapolate that out to what you think. Who is another starting pitcher here? Who hasn't signed yet? Aside from the big guys, Hyun-Jin Ryu.
The big guys.
Hyun-Jin Ryu. So he has 9.4 WAR the last 3 years. That's an average WAR of 3.13. So let's split the difference and say he earns $6 million per WAR. Do you see Hyun-Jin Ryu getting $18.8 million AAV.
Yes.
Let's put that over 3 years. It's a 3-year, $56.4 million contract. That's actually really not unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean, he is 33, so he's getting up there.
That's why I would say 3 years probably the max.
Yeah, he has some injury history. I mean, when was the last time he was actually fully healthy for a full season?
I think this year's the only year he's done it.
Yeah, and he was even hurt a little bit this year. He missed maybe a start or two.
Probably a few since he pitched 29 games instead of I think a fully healthy season is like 32 to 35.
Yeah, I was going to say 35. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's fair. Man,
yeah.
Did he come over from the KBO?
Yes. Yeah, he's Korean. Yeah.
A lot shorter career than I would have thought.
Yeah, in part because he's just spent, like you said, a lot of time in the KBO. All right, so now let's extrapolate that out to one of the big guys. All right, let's start with Strasburg so we can work our way up to Cole. So Strasburg, actually with more WAR than Cole over the last 3 years because Cole's resurgence has been, or not resurgence, but kind of, I don't know.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Josh? Is it because he left the Pirates?
Well, the quality of life increases dramatically after you leave the city of Pittsburgh. So Strasburg has garnered 15.7 WAR over the last 3 years. That's 5.23 WAR per season, which is fucking ridiculous. So let's take that 5.23 WAR and give him that same AAV of $6 million per, that same average value spent per WAR of $6 million. That's an AAV of $31.4 million. And I would also say that's pretty on the nose, maybe a little bit lower, but not by too much. No, I think he would get paid higher. I think that this 31.4 is probably a little bit lower than what he's looking for.
Right. I think he's looking at like 33 to 35.
Yeah. I would say 30. Yeah, probably 33. Because I think that 35 is going to be for
Cole.
For Cole.
Yeah.
But actually, that I don't hate that. That's not awful.
I don't either. I don't hate that one bit.
Well, it's going to ruin. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just talking to talk.
Okay. What's going to ruin this, though, is Garrett Cole, because he's definitely not going to fit the bill here because everyone wants to pay for current year's Garrett Cole, not what he did over the last 3 years, because he has actually less WAR, as I said, than Strasburg over the last 3 years, 14.6 to 15.7. So I'm actually going to take his last 2 years where he has 5.2 and 6.9. So let's take 5.2 plus 6.9, and then I'll add in, let's say, another 6 wins for a third year, just to call it kind of an average. It's 18.1 WAR, which I like a little bit better. That's probably what everyone's kind of more so banking on since he's become what he is now. I think it's a little bit more fair to Garrett Cole.
I'd agree with that.
That puts him at an average WAR per year of 6.03, and multiplying that by what we're saying pitcher dollar amount per WAR currently is, at least looking like thus far, and that gets him $36.2 million AAV.
I don't quite think he gets there.
That's certainly ballpark right there.
Yeah, because I don't think no pitchers are at 36. Nobody's broken 36 yet, right? Scherzer's at like 35.
I believe the record is still Zach Greinke, and he's close. I think he's 35.4 was what his record was. But yeah, I'm trying to find I'm also on Spot Tracker. 34.1, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, 34.416.
Yeah, so that's the record.
So Scherzer has to be higher. No, because Scherzer had 35.
So actually, it's his adjusted salary is 34. His payroll salary is 35 million.
Yeah, so Max Scherzer's payroll salary $35,900.
Oh,
So honestly, Garrett Cole probably going to break 36 then.
and breaking it by $300,000 is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Damn,
Okay.
if only MLB teams did this kind of analysis when they're trying to figure out how much to pay a prospect, or not a prospect, a player.
Yeah, I think that if we nail those two numbers, and I'll write them down after I listen to this episode again because I didn't write them down right now.
Yeah.
I think we should be legally granted GM ship of the Pirates.
All right, I need us to do something before we move on. Don't think I didn't hear that, Pirates slant, because fuck you. So Jonas Cespedes and Albert Pujols are making $29.5 and $29 million in 2020.
Wow.
How much is that per WAR for the past 3 years? Like their 3-year average.
Wow.
Would be fuck. This is gonna be so bad. I already know Jonas Cespedes is, an infinite number because
he barely
can't divide by 0, Josh.
All right, so hold on one second. Let's start with Albert. Oh, Albert, no.
All right, I'll look up Jonas then.
Albert Pujols will be negative because in 2017 he had a negative 1.9 WAR season, and in 2018 it was 0.5, and 2019 it was 0.4. So he's negative 1 WAR over the last 3 years. So that the math won't even, the basic arithmetic we're using won't even work. So, yeah, I could give him the Garrett Cole treatment and just give him a third year that's different to make the numbers better. Give him half a WAR season.
Sure, why not?
All right, so
or give him 0.1.
All right, I could give him 0.1. So that gives him 1 WAR in the last 3 years. And how much is he expected to make?
He's gonna make $29 million.
Okay. Next year, right? That's 1 year.
Yeah.
That means per WAR, they are paying him $87 million.
Oh man.
Oh boy. That is
all right, so what would Mike Trout's contract be at that rate?
$87 million per WAR.
Yeah, just multiply it. So $870 million a year.
Hold on, I want to be accurate with this. Mike Trout. All right, I'm pulling it up. Over the last 3 years, player value. There we go. He has 8.3, 10.2, and that's weird. 6.6. Oh, he was hurt that year.
Was hurt.
Yeah. So 25.1, which means on average 8.36 times $87 million. Means that he would have been worth $727.9 million.
Do the Angels have that kind of money?
I'm not sure Art Moreno has that money. Or no, he doesn't. Yeah, he owns the Angels. Yeah, I think. Or is he the Orioles?
I don't know, man.
One of those two is the Orioles. One of the, or he's either the. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Give me what was Giannis Cespedes?
So did not play in 2019. So I guess we'll just skip over that. Had a WAR of 0.9 in 2018, 2.2 in 2017, and 3.1 in 2016. When he finished 8th in MVP voting with an All-Star and a Silver Slugger.
When he's healthy, he's a legitimately good player. Yeah. What was it? How much is he making again next year? 29 million?
29 flat, yeah.
Oh shit, I just fucked that up. Hold on one second. It was that plus that 0.9 divided by 3 times 29 million. And that's, so they are paying him just under $60 million per WAR.
Fuck.
Now let's add in his 0 WAR for 2019. So that means he got 2.2 WAR for 2017 plus the 0.9 WAR for 2018 plus 0 WAR for 2019. It's 3.1 WAR. divided by 3 is 1.03 WAR per year. And now let's find out how much they're paying him per WAR. It's a lot. Actually, no, they're paying him $29 million, $30 million per WAR.
Yeah,
that's awful.
That's less than ideal.
That's
not quite really... Albert Pujols bad, but
no, Albert Pujols is 87 million is ridiculous.
So bad.
Yasmani Grandal is getting paid like $6.5 million per WAR. You're Cespedes is going to get paid 30.
I wonder why Yasmani Grandal is really trying to bump that AAV for catchers. Jesus Christ.
Holy fuck. That's bad. Ooh, man. All right.
This is why I'm so upset that I missed out on Albert Pujols' prime. Because this is what I'm most likely going to remember him as.
Which, you know what? I'm okay with.
I don't think I am. I want to remember him as being better than this.
I'm happy with what we got. I like Albert Pujols, even though he's not great anymore. He's barely good anymore. I still like Albert Pujols. Just 'cause he just seems like he's having a great time. All right. I say we get on out of here.
Yeah, I have class, so I gotta leave.
All right. Well, if you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. You want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And if you want to find show notes, do so at juicingthenumbers.wixsite.com/website, juicingthenumbers.com. And until Monday, y'all have a good one.
Bye.